Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to Beyond the Games. And in this little series, we're going to be interviewing some content creators, whether the individual's a streamer, a YouTuber, or both. And my first guest is my last guest on my podcast is Cody's back, aka Fatti.
Hey,
All right, I appreciate you stepping up and being the first one to run the gauntlet of questions.
yeah, I feel like we should point out that this isn't the same day.
No,
We
it is
didn't just
not.
decide to record two of these at once.
No, this is actually this is new content. There was, and I do need to apologize. There was no episode last week, just between work and everything else, and trying to schedule some stuff. It didn't get I didn't get anything out, and I kind of missed an opportunity. I had a few ideas, but nothing panned out for me, and so I decided that Cody was gracious enough to offer up to be the first for my new insight. So I have a few other people lined up to interviews. I'm not going to leak any names yet because I haven't got anything recorded, so I'm not going to say it's happening. But I got a few friends and stuff that are interested in being interviewed. So yeah, we'll see how this works out. Let me know in the comments if there's anyone you want me to reach out to, or if you're a streamer or content creator and you feel you want to sit down and have a chat. Just let me know, and we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So, first up,
Mm.
what was your motivation for streaming or content creation when starting out? So I know you started kind of YouTube first, so you can just kind of let us know.
Okay, so I actually started YouTube. I have two channels. Fatty came a lot later, so I have my own personal channel that I started as a teenager, and it's probably when I was like 15. So that was like 13 years ago. And my grandmother had bought me a video camera, and I took it everywhere. Everything I did with my friends, every time I went out, I was videotaping. Sorry, I have COVID. No, I don't. I'm kidding.
Jesus.
I'm actually like I'm allergic to the cleaner they're using at our office for COVID,
Jesus.
and I'm pretty sure it's like giving me like some crazy lung infection or something. It's
Hopefully
bad.
not.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, back to videos. So I would videotape everything and I would just upload them onto my channel, and they're still all up there from like 13 years ago. But I have them privated just because it's under my name and I work in the public, and some people might look that up and be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have videos of you doing that up there.
Okay.
Um,
So I guess we're
so
not going to link that in the description then. Gotcha.
yeah, they're all privated. You'll never see them unless I let you. But yeah, so I was always interested in making videos. I grew up in the jackass age, so like doing stupid shit on camera and putting it on the internet just seemed like the perfect thing. That obviously progressed into video games and into YouTube for my Fatty channel. Probably, I think like 3 years ago, 3, 4. No, God, more than that. Probably about 4 years ago. And it was simply because I always loved video games, and I saw everyone else playing video games and recording themselves, and I was like, I could do this, but worse. So I'm going to. So it just, yeah, I went out, I bought a terrible capture card for way too much money. And I
Right.
started recording my gameplay. And at the same time, me and my fiance, Corinne, we started the channel, which I keep forgetting about, Playdate. We started doing Let's Plays together. And yeah, that kind of just, she kind of petered out of that. She lost interest, but I kept going. So yeah, that's me.
So that's what got you into the streaming on Twitch.
So we started Playdate by streaming our footage from our Xbox onto Twitch using the app on the Xbox. But we only had like a headset, so we didn't really like stream ourselves talking. We did it purely to record. And then I'd download that footage, edit it into a video, and slap it on the Playdate for a YouTube video. But I started noticing people would like come and start chatting as we were doing it. I had no way of answering them, but like it was kind of cool, right? They were just it was interesting to them, but there's no commentary, right? So it didn't really work. So probably about a year later, I was like, man, this streaming thing is kind of cool. Like people actually want to talk to you. And me being a very lonely individual, I was like, I need friends. I need to talk to people. So I started doing it when I had my PlayStation and my VR headset. Basically, because streaming in VR, it was kind of niche, right? So there's a lot of VR channels just coming up at that time, and everyone was interested in it. So I got a few followers that way. But that was really my first like foray into it, was through the PS4, and I had a blast. I had random people talking to me, dropping in. I was having fun playing the games, and then I bought my first hunk of shit gaming PC off Kijiji, I guess it is up here, and I was like, yeah, let's stream. So I grabbed my mic and my audio input that I had from the musician stuff I do. I slapped it onto my rig. I started up a page, and I was like, streaming, let's do this, and it just took off.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So you started out doing like IRL recording, turn that into entertainment for your friends, but then it snowballed into actual like content creation
Yeah,
and
like
streaming.
that was the weird thing, is like when we were doing it for Playdate, it was legit just a game playing. We weren't commentating on it because we had no way to do that on Twitch. We were just using it to record footage, but people would pop in and start talking, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna look into this more, and I started it. I enjoyed it, and honestly, I found it. It was a very different world, right? Because like YouTube, everything is it's edited, right? Your final product is what you want people to see. But there's something just so raw and intimate about streaming that it's a whole different world. It's not that it's more fun than YouTube. It's just different.
Definitely different. Definitely different. Awesome. All right. So, so this one I know you didn't do a lot of just because I've known you for a while, but how did you like advertise, promote your stream starting out? And how much like social networking did you do and where did you do it?
So I did do a little bit for streaming. Actually, I did more for my videos. So for streaming, I really started using Twitter, right? Using hashtags, stuff like that. It sometimes worked. I'd get a few people in there. Um, at the beginning, it worked a lot. But, as I kind of came and gone again, it worked a little less. But for my videos, I utilized Facebook a lot. I actually have a Facebook webpage for my videos. I haven't used it in forever, but I would post like new posts every time I had a new video coming up, or I'd say like, "Oh, a video is being edited," and I'd throw a screenshot up there, and all my friends would be like, "Oh, that's cool," blah blah blah, and they would come and watch it and support it, so that'd be cool. Um, but really, like, yeah, I didn't do too much advertising. I never bought into the whole like boost your post type thing. I didn't do any paid advertising. It was basically just me going onto Facebook or Twitter and saying, "Hey, I did this. You should probably watch it." Um, I think what worked though is everything I did had a very sarcastic tone. So if I played a game that was like new or interesting, I'd have some witty caption like, no, I don't know, it'd be like, "Oh man, come watch me completely suck ass at this video game," or like, "World's next ninja if you lived in a trailer park," or something. Like that was the kind of shit that I'd caption all my stuff with, and people were like, "Oh hey, that's stupid and witty. Let's check it out," and it got views, so it worked a little bit.
Well, hey, kind of whatever works. That's the whole thing is to get noticed, right? That's the whole thing.
Kinda.
Okay. So this is a question that I know um, a lot of people talk about even during like we can't say YouTube because it's not a back and forth with like chat, but I know I've heard this question not really asked, but when other streamers talk about like their streaming and the kind of their career, I guess you'd call it. Because was there ever a point that you just wanted to stop? And that counts
Uh,
for YouTube End for that's YouTube End streaming, not just one or the other. But
yeah, plenty of times actually. Um, actually, kind of like right now. So with YouTube, I found, I got some viewers. With streaming, I found a little bit of success with streaming near the beginning, and it was great because it was kind of sprung upon me. I was part of this community. I was doing role play stuff on stream, GTA role play, and I was part of this community that belonged to a huge YouTuber, and so everyone basically like chowed this dude's ass every chance they got. Um, and he raided me one night, and it got me just a shit ton of followers, a bunch of viewers, but some of them stuck around, which was awesome. At that point, though, I was preparing to have my son. He was coming into the world like 3-4 months later, so I was getting ready to step away for a while because I didn't think I would have the time to, work, be a father, play games, stream, worry about all that stuff. So I was kind of like at my height when I walked away. When I came back, not too long after, and tried to do it, hard again, that experience kind of tarnished it for me because I had these expectations like, oh man, I'm gonna have 25 people in my chat as I play this game. They waited around. No, that's not the case, right? So I tried coming back and I didn't get that. I had maybe like one person, and everyone says, oh, I don't do it for the views, or I don't do it for money, or blah blah blah. You can say that as much as you want, but part of you always wants success, right? In anything you're doing like this, and anything creative, yes, it's mainly passion, but you also want some success. There's a little person in there that wants success. And when you have what you consider success and it goes away, it just kind of ruins it for you. And so I tried doing YouTube again. I made some videos. I made probably some of my best videos, honestly, when it comes to quality. But I got tired of it. I got tired of just doing Let's Plays. I think the last Let's Play I did was some game that I got sent by a developer, and I had no interest. Through that whole video, I was just like, man, what the fuck am I doing? And then streaming just became too competitive. It became a numbers game, right? So I was always looking at that number, or looking for people in my chat, or trying to think about, how am I going to make this better? How am I going to provide more? Blah, 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 blah. I would try to buy new gear. I try to buy the best games that came out. And eventually I just got to a point where I was like, I don't enjoy gaming. I'm not having fun right now. What am I doing? And so I stepped away. I just quit. I stopped streaming for months probably. And I think the first time I actually streamed again was this year for my birthday stream. That's the first time I came back to it with a level mind where I was like, I'm just gonna have fun. And it helped that I had a whole bunch of punishments set up to just keep me busy, right? There was nothing there where I had to be like, oh man, I got to pay attention to the numbers, because I was in absolute pain the entire fucking time. So that kind of helped.
That was an evening and a half.
Yeah. I mean, it was a real good distraction.
Yeah.
But I think that was the first time I came back, or I did it in a while, where I was like, I just don't care. I just want to play a game, and if anyone pops by. I got busy at work recently, last couple months, really busy, and I stopped streaming again. Mainly, life gets in the way. And then a couple months, or probably about a month before my daughter was born, again, another kid. Probably about a month before she was born, I had this grandiose idea, right? I'm going to rebrand my entire Twitch. I'm going to rebrand everything. I want to relaunch as a public access TV show in a way. I'm going to have different shows. I'm going to run 2 each time that I stream. We're going to do different things. One's going to be a gaming one. One's going to be a cooking show. We're going to have like a talk show, and then we're going to have a radio show, which I was going to do. Obviously, the radio show can't happen now because of the DCMA bullshit.
Right.
But I again found myself just sitting here like, man, I'm way too fucking busy to do any of this. And so I've walked away. But the difference is now is I don't know if I'll go back. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to streaming. I've thought about making videos again just for fun, but I don't know. You know, I'm at that point right now where I'm like, I'm almost in my 30s. I feel like I've peaked both in age and also in my content creation before. I don't think I'll get that back. And I'm enjoying myself and my own time and playing games with my friends and not have to worry about who's chatting or appealing to the people who are watching me or appealing to, you know, what they want. I can just do whatever I want. And it's kind of nice. But I don't know if that'll stick.
So that whole answer kind of incorporates another question that I was saving for like closer, I guess, probably to the end. But like, I guess we can kind of put it right in with this one here. Is like, how do you juggle work and personal time, like, and you know, on top of content creation? And I guess the answer is whenever you have a full time job and 2 kids. The answer is it's almost impossible to do.
It's a quite hard no, honestly.
Yeah. So.
When you have kids who, you know, they're under the age of 3, both of them, they have rely heavily on you, and they're still developing. You know, I go to work all day, come home, and I'm instantly taking care of them, trying to give Corinne a little bit of time to herself. And then they go to sleep probably around 8:30. At that point, you know, I'm trying to spend some time with Corinne. The baby's still up. She doesn't sleep till like 11, which sucks, but that'll change eventually. And yeah, I mean, by the time I have any actual free time alone, it's probably about 10 o'clock, and I've got to wake up the next morning, right? Even on weekends, you know, tomorrow I'm going to be up at 7:30 because my kids are going to wake up and say, okay, time to get up. So it's hard. You've got to sacrifice something if you want to continue this. For me, it would be sleep, right? The only free time I have is at night. And honestly, if I want to start making a video or if I want to stream, it's probably after 10:30. So,
And you know, like you said, you with the fact is either the kids or the job get you up so early in the morning, it's to the point where, you know, 10:30 at night is kind of the it's an impossibility to start a stream, you know, and actually, you know, do any content creation at that hour for any length of time if you got to get up so early.
well,
I know.
especially if you've had a full day, right? You're just
Exactly.
worn, right? Your mind's
Exactly.
not in it.
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, I know this isn't my interview, but like, I mean, when it's, you know, my 13-hour shift is up, like, I don't even want to think about, you know, playing. So I get it. Like with, I don't have kids, so I mean, I don't have that aspect, but I mean, I can understand it. I mean, I'm not I'm not oblivious to the world around me. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So this falls, I guess, right into another question: is how's being a content creator affected personal relationships?
Yeah. So I mean, personal relationships, it hasn't done much. Um, I know for Corinne, she was always super supportive of it. Um, there were times, obviously, when Archer was first born, where if I had to disappear for a few hours, sometimes it was hard, right? Because he was so, you know, he would cry or something, or she'd be trying to do something around the house and he would need her and I wasn't around. This would be like back when we were doing the podcast or something. Um, but for the most part, she's supportive, right? She always had me open on her computer. She always was trying to interact with chat, managing things. Um, she would be the one like checking any kind of actions, or any of the like alerts or stuff that come through on whatever the hell that site is called. I can't remember
Streamlabs
it now.
or
Yeah,
yeah,
Streamlabs,
Streamlabs.
Streamlabs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she'd be the one that's checking all that. I would purely just be playing a game and chatting with whoever came in. But she was like the management behind it, which was awesome. She really really supported me. So yeah, it never really got in the way. Even when I would come home from work before Archer was born, she'd be like, "Hey, you gonna go stream?" And I'm like, "Do you want to spend some time together?" I just got home. She's like, "Well, let's go downstairs and stream, and we'll spend time together." I'm like, "All right, man, let's do it." So
Awesome.
it depends. Like, it depends on the relationship and the person, I guess. You really got to feel that kind of stuff out if you're gonna try and put any kind of effort into this. Obviously, if your relationship is a little different than mine, you know, different strokes for different folks. What works for me is going to work for you.
True enough. And keeping on the relationship kind of side of the questions, I guess, how do your friends or family react when you tell them what you do?
So when I was doing it, and when I was doing good at it, I remember one night I got a decent amount of donations near the beginning of all of this, and I talked to my mom the next day, and she's like, "Oh, what'd you do last night?" I was like, "Oh, I was playing some games and made a couple $100." And she kind of just stopped. She's like, "I'm sorry, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was streaming, and some people donated." She's like, and she's probably like, she's a typical Gen Xer who doesn't play video games. She played like Super Nintendo back in the day and really liked N64, but like she's not in tune with all that. So when I said that I'm playing video games for people and they were paying me, it kind of floored her. Right? She's the type of person that thinks like the only way you make money is through hard work. And when I was like, "Oh yeah, I was just playing GTA last night to some people and I made some money," she's like, "Did you sell them illicit drugs or something?" Like, did you get Corinne to strip on? I don't understand what is going on. And I had to explain the entire thing to her. But she always knew I made videos. She always watched my videos, even the stuff I made as a teenager. Some things I would have to private because I was a teenager and she was my mother. But she always watched it and had a great laugh at it and a great kick out of it. All my friends were super well. A few of them were super supportive. Others really they didn't care. They just kind of did their own thing. But I had some who just loved it, and I actually had a few who would come and do videos with me, which was great. I think back to my Reddit roulette days where I used to do that, and I had a friend of mine from PEI actually, and he joined me in a couple of them. And I thought the kid was going to break. His morality at the end of that was just gone. It was
I could understand that that subreddit doing that to someone's morality.
Oh, it was. And the funny thing about him was like a couple years before that, he was like the most innocent, pure person in the world. And then this just broke him. Like, this was the tipping stone where he was just like, all right, I have no feelings whatsoever. But like, it was cool. So he would come down and do videos with me all the time. We played a bunch of games together, did a bunch of videos. So like a lot of them, they were supportive. I had another one who would just throw my videos on in the background when he went to sleep, just so I would get more views. Like, so they were super supportive. It was good to have a nice bunch of people at my back.
Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. So we're gonna touch a bit on like your setup and stuff. So talk about your setup. You can mention what you previously used, what you use now. And did you find adding any certain thing to your stream or to your videos, technical wise, like a piece of hardware or piece of software that you found was really helpful and beneficial to what you were doing?
Yeah. So, man, I have a lot of hardware. We'll stick with streaming.
Okay.
Because if we get into video making, like I have 4 different cameras, I have a bunch of different mics, green screens, like there's a lot of shit. And it's not stuff that I bought for it. It's just stuff I collected over the years because, like I said, I always liked making movies. So it's all old, but it's all useful. So for streaming, I have 2 cameras. So I have a Canon T3i DSLR. I have my Logitech C920, I think it is. I don't think it's the 22. It's just C920. It does 1080 video, but I never set it to 1080 because you don't need to. It's just 720 is fine. For audio, I'm using a Rode NT1A. That was not bought for streaming. I bought it because I'm also a musician, so it was for recording music. I have 2 audio interfaces. I have an M Audio Fast Track Pro and an M Audio. Can't remember the name of it. It's a thing. I'm using an Acer 25-inch monitor. Plus, I have 2 gigantic TVs for just whatever. One of them's going to their bedroom, though. I traded this one for Corinne. I wanted her monitor because it was an actual gaming monitor and it has good frame rate. I bought a Red Dragon mouse and keyboard setup for $40 off Amazon, and the keyboard is fucking awesome.
Oh, really?
For $40, this thing is a tank. The mouse broke after the first year, so I've gone through a couple mice, but the most recent one that I used was a Razer Naga Chroma wireless. It's actually a MOBA mouse, so it has, or like an MMO mouse, so it has the 12 buttons on the side.
Holy crap!
I actually prefer that because if you're playing games like Tarkov or Scum or something, you have all those keybinds. You can have them right at your thumb. It makes it so much easier, so much quicker.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the tracking on it started going wonky. Like, yeah, I bought it used for $50. The tracking on it started going really wonky. So I was like, well, I want another MMO mouse. I want those keybinds. So I actually, a couple days ago, picked up a Corsair. What is it? Oh, a Corsair Scimitar Elite or Pro, whatever the newest one is.
Wow.
And it's got all the fancy RGB and it lights up and makes colors and all that shit. But I liked it because it's the same size as my Razer mouse. It has the 12 keys, but it does one thing my Razer mouse couldn't, is the 12 keys on the side actually slide back and forth so you can reposition them.
Oh, wow. That's
And
neat.
yeah, so when you have a wonky ass size hand for a mouse, that is really, really beneficial. So I can have it wherever I need my thumb to be, which is awesome. For computer, I used to say my computer's shit, but I keep forgetting that I've completely rebuilt it from the ground up. It started out as a $700 used Frankenstein computer I bought off of Kijiji. It had like an old school i5 from I think 2013 or something in it. It had mismatched RAM, 16 gigs, an old GTX 970, which is still being used in, well, that's set up, but it's in another computer in our bedroom. But now I have the AMD Ryzen 3, I think it's the 1200, that you gave me, actually.
Yep.
B450M board. I have 16 gigs of, I think it's Team Falcon RAM. I don't know what the fuck it is. 3000 hertz RAM or something. And I just bought a Radeon 590 or RX 590. I think that's it. What it is?
Yep. RX 590. Yep.
Yeah. 8 GB. It's awesome. And so yeah. So I recently rebuilt my computer, and actually today I just ordered a new CPU as well. I got a Ryzen 5 2600 because Canada the computer was having a sale on it, so I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's pick that up."
That's 2600 is what I run, or 2600X in mine.
You have the 2600X?
Yeah.
Oh, it was between that or the 2600.
You can overclock the 26 with even the stock cooler that AMD sends with theirs is good enough. You can throw a little bit of voltage on that. You could overclock it to pretty
Yeah, that
much
was my
match.
thing. That was my thing. So I
Yeah.
was looking at the two, and I knew that you could overclock the 2600 to make it, just as good. Um, but I had thought the 2600X came with the cooler with the RGB, and I now have a case with a window on it. So like, I
Well,
want the flashies.
mine doesn't have the Wraith stealth or the RGB one. Mine just has the regular stealth.
Yeah. So
Mine's
I
got a touch overclocking on, and it doesn't ever get hot. Never
no.
I mean, it just sits there most of the time, just chilling. Like when I'm playing games, it's like it's just hanging out and chilling. And the 8 cores, man. She just sits there and chills. She's pretty decent little processor. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was between those two. And so I realized it just came with stock cooler. So I was like, okay, I'll save myself the $60 and just get the
yeah.
2600. It should be fine.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine with that.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's my setup. Oh, it's all set up on a an IKEA dining table that I got at IKEA for like $30. It was on clearance. I think it was originally like $120, but it's a dining table.
Hey, nothing wrong with
But
that. Hey, whatever works, man. You got to make whatever you have work, and you seem to be doing it. Nice,
oh yeah, pretty
nice,
much. That's my whole philosophy for all my gear is just whatever I can find for as cheap as I can find and just slap it all together. Hope to
nice.
God it works. But yeah, so that gear, why I use it or what I did to make my stream better. So obviously all the computer components were upgraded because I was running into a lot of issues streaming where half the games I played, my computer couldn't handle it and stream at the same time. So of course I upgraded, and with a new CPU, new DDR4 RAM with the new GPU, now my computer can play a lot of shit and stream it at the same time. So definitely beneficial that way. In terms of bringing in more views, no one cares about what your computer is. It's all about personality, honestly.
Well,
And
you gotta be able to have a stream that's not jittering and falling apart as well.
oh, for sure,
Yeah,
yeah. If you're filming your stream with a cell phone and streaming that way,
a laptop
uh,
camera.
a laptop camera, yeah, or like that's not gonna work. You might have your core friends there that are like, oh yeah, this is awesome, but anyone who pops into that stream, they're gonna be like, dude, fuck this. I'm gonna go watch Shroud do whatever he's doing now because he's back.
Yeah,
So yeah, obviously you have to have a certain amount of power in order to stream, especially PC. Consoles, super easy. I mean, any console out of the box can stream to Twitch now. So, other than the Switch cannot stream to Twitch.
no, you have to use
Doesn't
the
make
capture
sense.
card.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, I mean, outside of making sure that your stream looks like quality, it's all personality, right? You could play the coolest game in the world, and it could be like the most fine graphics in the world, but if you're the most boring, dry person ever, I don't think you're gonna make it.
Unless you find that audience that likes the dry person.
I was gonna say, unless that's their kink, where they're just like,
Yeah.
oh yes, dry daddy. Your subtle eye movements just make me so wet.
those those monotone voiceover through the whole stream is amazing.
Take my $5.
Take all my bits. Oh shit! All right. So there's a couple questions left here. This is a kind of interesting one. Have you ever streamed or made videos of a game you no longer liked just because it was bringing in views?
Yeah. Like I said, I had a big rise in views back when I was doing GTA RP, and I grew to hate GTA RP. I don't hate role playing. I think role playing to an extent is fun because it brings a new wacky imagination to it. And I don't think I hate GTA RP itself. I think I hate the community that I was part of. Just became very regulated, and I grew to resent it. So I haven't been on my GTA RP server in probably a year, if not longer. Um, and I really have no desire to go back. Um, God, what else? I would also say Sea of Thieves, just because it didn't really bring in viewers for me. I know it brought in viewers for like you guys and some of my friends who grew a community around it, but I think I just burnt myself out of it. Played it way too often. It just kind of grew stale. But I was always like a variety streamer in the first place anyway. Even my videos. I mean, I think other than having a series of things, I would always do something different for my videos or play a different game for my stream. Um, I would seldomly try to play the same thing over and over again, unless it was like me and my friends playing it, right? So I would always try to do something new. So it kept it fresh.
So you didn't find you were, for a couple weeks on end, you weren't streaming or making content or something that you fucking hated to the point where, well, I know this is getting me some views and I kind of need those to, but you grew to say just like a game, or you stopped playing it, but were you actually like making content while you were loathing that particular, I wouldn't say hate, but
Yeah.
something you had lost a lot of interest in, but you were still making the content because it was actually still getting you some views, whether stream or via YouTube.
Yeah, definitely GTA RP.
Okay.
That I every night I played that. There was a solid 2 months almost where, other than if I was playing with you and a few other people, I was doing GTA RP. And every night I was doing that for probably about a month and a half. I was getting concurrent, probably 25 to 30 viewers. I was also receiving a few donations each night. And I would say the last 2 to 3 weeks I was doing it, I fucking hated it. I it was a strain to actually try and play that. I would have to sit down the day before and try to like actually script out scenarios that I would try to do, or storylines I would try to do to role play into this game, because I just couldn't do anything more on the spot. I was just tired of it. And I was tired of the people who were coming to watch it. I was tired of the community I was in. It really started weighing on me. And eventually, yeah, I just walked away. Um, and there was a point where I stepped away for so long that I actually got kicked out of the community. And when I did, I was like, huh, I kind of want to go back. The toddler thing where you don't have it anymore, so you want it. So I went through the training again. I got back in. I agreed to be more active, and I played it for one night, and I yeeted myself out of there as quick as fucking possible. And it's been like a year since I've gone back.
Okay. I appreciate the honest answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I figure that's one of the questions that people will not really. I'm not saying that anyone's not going to answer it, but it's one of those questions like, do you want to
I
tell
think
people that you were streaming this because they're watching it? Like
I think
that's
if you talk to someone who is still streaming right now and gets some decent views, then you might get someone who's like, like they'll kind of hop around it.
be interesting
Um,
to see.
it will be, yeah.
Okay. So the next two questions are kind of they roll into one because it's what's your favorite thing about this and what is your least favorite thing about this, and that is both YouTube and streaming since it's content creation in a whole.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you like? What's kind of your favorite thing and what's your least favorite?
My favorite thing is, I'll split them up between YouTube and Twitch.
Sure.
My favorite thing about YouTube is that everything I put out, I try to be passionate about. So I put a lot of work into it. So my favorite thing is seeing people comment on it and say like, "Oh man, this video was cool," or they'll like pick a part out and actually try to talk to me about it. And I think that kind of engagement is just great, because like you have some stranger in the world who's seeing your work and they're just like, "Hey man, this is cool," and that's really fulfilling to a person. Um, and then when it comes to Twitch, my favorite thing about that is just chatting, right? Just getting random people in where they drop in and say, "Hey, what's up?" And you start to get casual, or you start to get regular returns, and you start to develop relationships. I know there was one regular I had who lived down in the States, and he was an avid bicyclist, and he actually was training at that time when he was stopping by to do sorry, there's a weird sound behind me. He was training to do like some crazy, I think it was like 200-kilometer bike ride or something. And so I was following him on Twitter because of that, because we kept talking about that. So yeah, my favorite thing is just those unique relationships you get to create with just randoms from around the world who just want to drop in and say hi.
Nice.
My least favorite part of it all, I would say, yeah, it's probably the same for both, is honestly the grind, right? So with both YouTube and Twitch, because if you're starting either in 2020, man, you have a hard road ahead of you, because you're so late to the game. You really need to find a niche that already hasn't been picked to death and try to stick with it, right? And I hate that. I hate having to like conform into a certain shape and try to fit into that hole just so people will accept me, just so people will come and talk and want to watch my stuff or want to engage with me in some way. You know, I don't like the fact that I have to play certain games or appeal to certain people, or, you know, if I want to play the most popular game out there, right? When Animal Crossing came out, I started streaming that. If I wanted to stream Animal Crossing, I know I'm not going to get any viewers because there's already 500 other people who've probably been doing this longer, streaming the same game, getting all of those people, right? So that's probably my least favorite part about it, is everyone's expected to, I guess, fall in line, and yet they're also expected to carve out their own path, and it's just an absolute grind. If you want any kind of success, it's a grind. I hate that part, but nothing comes easy, right?
Well, that's why I chose, a podcast, because no one does podcasts, right?
Yeah, no one, not at all. There's not entire industries built off of
No,
this.
no, not at all. No, this is easy. This is a cakewalk. I didn't have to think up to name and logos, and and you plan out and get the interview set up, and I did none of that. That's the easy part. Yeah, I definitely agree with your likes and dislikes on both things, because like I said, it's not my interview, but yeah, I understand that I've been there, and I'm still there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's it. Unless there's something you want to add in, I think that's all the questions I kind of have.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to add.
But as before, I will be linking your Twitter. And like I said, I know you're not doing a lot of content creation at the moment, but I'm also going to link your anything else you want me to link in the description down below for this. And
yeah, link my Twitch and YouTube if you want.
yeah,
I'm a sucker. I'm gonna come back. Obviously, I'm gonna try
well,
it again.
I'm hoping you do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
I
So
might have a video cooking up already. We don't even know.
holy shit, you heard it here, folks. Sneak peek, teaser. All right. I want to thank you for dropping by, being the first one in the gauntlet of questions, and as always, it's great to chat you about everything. Anyways, so like I said it like 4 or 5 times already. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for everyone for sticking around and listening. Yeah. So if anyone in the comments wants to have any questions, maybe I can ask next time. Any questions for Cody, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll get them to him. Hit him up on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter. If you have any other questions you want to ask, or if you're a content creator, whether you're YouTube or Twitch, and you want to be on here or know someone I should reach out to, hey, just drop me a line on Twitter or leave a comment below. So
you should interview an OnlyFans person.
I know someone OnlyFans. Interesting.
Yeah, someone who's on OnlyFans.
Well, hey, if you know somebody that's willing to do an interview, I don't really. I guess that's content creation.
Yeah, that's content creation. That's flash your butthole for $5 content creation. I'm down with that.
Hey, yeah. So hey, I'm not only YouTubers or Twitch streamers. I'll take OnlyFans as well. So yeah, hey, if you know of anybody that I should reach out to, you hit me up, and I'll do my best to make it happen. So yeah, there we go. We got some potential interesting content coming down the pipes. That is definitely beyond the games.